Ivan and Melly. Welcome to Western Perspective. I'm Madeline Lombardi. A mission led by Police and Defence Minister Paul Papalia seeks to target UK and Irish workers to move to Western Australia. Under the campaign, It's Like No Other. The mission seeks to sell WA's higher wages, lower cost of living, surf and sunshine lifestyle to workers overseas.
We've received more than 800 applications from qualified, experienced police officers in the UK and Ireland seeking to take up the offer. It's a big push. Western Australia is the best place in the world to live. We all know that, but it's also a land of opportunity. And by comparison to what's going on now, what's confronting people in the UK and Ireland, it looks like nirvana, and it really is. It's not a hard sell to sell Western Australia to the world.
Multicultural advocate Suresh Rajan joins us on the program. Thanks for joining us, Suresh. So Police and Defence Minister Paul Papalia is leading a mission that seeks to gain English and Irish workers from a range of industries. Do you think that the state government should have branched out to other Commonwealth countries outside of the UK and Ireland?
Undoubtedly, we've been talking for a long time about the fact that their focus has been very much on England, UK, Ireland, and also in South Africa. So they've been looking at only those three places largely over the last few years. And going back some time ago, they went to only those three places. And what we ended up with is, look, people who probably would not have passed the test of coming in if there was an open environment. Whereas what we're facing here is an environment where we're so desperate for people that we've lowered our standards to pick people up who won't necessarily fit into our community. For example, when we go back to the last lot of the recruitment that they did in England, one of those recruits ended up leaving the police and then joining One Nation Party and becoming a member of Parliament. And he has openly been very, very racist in his views, and it's not something that we would have necessarily picked up when we did an interview with him back when he was trying to come in as a policeman. Another policeman was first found guilty and subsequently acquitted of having released information that he obtained from the police database to the white supremacist neo-Nazi groups, and that was unacceptable. So he was convicted on that ground as well. Subsequently, there was an acquittal, but it was on some technical grounds that the acquittal occurred. So I'm concerned that whilst we're bringing people in from these places, we're not assessing potentially how they're going to be integrating into a very, very culturally diverse community. Going back some years now, it's almost about 13 years ago, I was involved in a team that actually redesigned the uniforms of WA Police, one to accommodate the hijab being worn, so people who could wear the hijab could still wear the police uniform, and we made the cut of the shirt at the waist level slightly shorter so that the flesh wasn't exposed, which was an important consideration for some people from an Islamic background. We also then redesigned the uniform so that people were able to have their turbans on and have the police insignia on the front of the turban. So it was very much designed to accommodate our multicultural community. So we can take people from those backgrounds because the policing systems in most Commonwealth nations are exactly the same. So, we've got somewhere like India, which has a very significant population that we could tap into. We have a population in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, for example. These are all places from which we could take people, but we seem to be just focused entirely on England and the wider UK and South Africa, which is unfortunate. We really should be branching out and looking at some of the multicultural communities.
So the government has specifically targeted this mission towards police officers in the UK and Ireland. Are there any worries about excluding other nations under the Commonwealth from actively taking part in this mission?
The reality is that we are an extremely multicultural community We have huge amounts of cultural diversity in our community. Why are we going back to this focus very much on white Anglo-Celtic people when really what we're dealing with here is a community that's almost 53 or 54% either a migrant or a child of a migrant. So we're talking about people who are incredibly diverse in their outlook, incredibly diverse in their cultural practices, and we need to cater for those. One of the things that we've seen as a result of the work we did around the accommodation of different types of cultural and religious beliefs into the uniforms, for example, is that all of a sudden we were starting to pick up a number of people at recruitment drives from those particular cultural communities in WA. There were people coming to the police recruitment drives who were from the Islamic community, who were from the white African community, who were from the Indian community, the Sikh community, etc. So all of a sudden, when people can identify with somebody who is from their community being in the police, they will also want to go and engage with the police in a recruitment capacity. So that's the upside, and that's being ignored. For too long, our police has been seen as a very white Anglo-Celtic Catholic male dominant group. We need to change that. Until we change that, we are not going to see that diversity in the police that is reflective of the community.
And finally, Suresh, do you believe that this mission accurately considers new workers in multicultural Australia?
Not at all. It's just ignoring the fact that we are an incredibly diverse community. We're going back to looking at a very white Anglo-Celtic paradigm on which this whole thing's being based. That is not the way to do it. It is quite appropriate for them to start looking wider afield into places like India, into places like Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, etc. All offer some very good opportunities and very good people that they could recruit, and people who could come and engage with the communities, the multicultural communities here at a much better level than will a white Anglo-Celtic person coming from England or UK generally.
Thanks so much for your time, Suresh. We appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Maddie.
That was multicultural advocate Suresh Rajan speaking with us on Western Perspective. You can view that and other premium stories by subscribing to the WAMN Extra News Club, supporting independent local journalism and keeping democracy strong. You can join us by clicking on the link in the description below. And now here's Leo Puglisi with what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks guys. On 6 News, controversy grows over Brisbane's 2032 Olympics redevelopment. Former students speaking out, the future of a local school up in the air. Dominic Perrottet denies his party is in chaos after a Liberal MP was suspended. And the US says justice must be served after formally declaring Russia has committed crimes against humanity in Ukraine. Watch live on our YouTube channel and our website, 6newsau.com. For now, guys, it is back to you.
Thanks, Leo. And before we head out tonight, here is a brief weather update. Perth is set to swelter with temperatures hitting around 35 degrees on Monday, then gradually cooling down during the week with 31 on Tuesday, 29 on Wednesday, cloudy with 25 degrees on Thursday and 27 on Friday with an overnight temperature hovering around 12 degrees. And that's all from Western Perspective this week. We'll be back with you next Sunday. Until then, Ivan and Melly, it's back to you.
Thanks, Maddie. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnews.com.au.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly and myself, we wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.